Warning.
Watch very closely now. 3, 2, 1. Bzow! Check that out.
The following podcast features terrible jokes.
Did you know you can use Hot Wheels cars when you need to make a saving throw in D&D? Every car is die-cast.
Usually about board games.
We want the fun. Gotta have that fun.
Must insist that no one attempt to recreate any joke performed on this podcast.
We had less technical issues than $1 million company.
All right!
This is Boards and Swords.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Boards and Swords. This was a podcast? It still is. This is a podcast featuring bad jokes, good folks, and some tabletop games. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Chris Renshaw, and sharing the scene with me today on this very awkward Sunday is Mr. Philip Herbig.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the show. As we mentioned in the Discord channel, this is the makeup show.
Yes.
So we've got all the beauty products.
You know,
they're behind me. You can see. Can you see them on the wall?
You know,
me?
you say that, but there's been a part of me that wants to do like a deep dive on how many cosmetic products also work for miniature stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I mean we know of one.
It would not be out of the realm of the of this show to do a makeup episode.
We're already aware of one product that transfers over. And
No.
don't you have a starter set?
Yeah. I can't
Okay,
use it.
yeah.
Like he's talking about the stamping plates. I have the starter set. The only time I've been able to actually do it was when I was at their booth and they were showing me how to do it. Every time I'm by myself trying to do it, like, I can't get this to work. I've watched videos, I've read stuff, I'm like copying everything, and I can't get it to work. So
you need that con atmosphere with all the crud floating around to get it to work.
Part of me at this point is wondering if theirs has just been used so much that there's some like seasoning on it. It's like your Dutch oven. You've used it so much that like it's just pre-treated. Like I just need to like take my stuff and like use my stuff for a while and then like mail it back. And then I might be able to use it. But there's also like I mean, that was a later thing. I've got a makeup dry brush I've been using for years. Like the powder brush, you can use as a dry brush. And it's only like you don't need to go spend $30 on like a really good quality dry brush. You can go to Walmart and pick up a $5 to $7 ELF powder brush, and that'll do the trick there. Also the sponges. There's a couple of different ones. There's the I don't know if you've ever seen the foam ones. That's like it's like almost like a teardrop, but like cylinder. Like that's really good for blending colors together. And then I've also just used regular makeup sponges for like wiping out, like if you're doing subtractive weathering where you add the stuff on and then wipe off everything you don't want on there. I've used makeup sponges for that. But that was a long way to say that that we're a little bit off kilter today. But there you go. That was the makeup episode in just like 5 minutes. Oh man. Yeah, things have been all over the place as if you couldn't tell. So let's get this show back on the rails and talk some news.
News.
All right. If Tony Stark couldn't build a suit that had legs that bent, would that be an Iron Knee? All right, let's get this actually in the view. That was one of the things I did not check. Oh, sorry. Small technical thing as I... All right, there we go. Okay. So this one's from Rascal, but it's actually just a repost of the article from Board Game Wire. Tabletop industry veteran Ryan Dancy loses his Alterac COO job. Alterac being AEG, Alterac Games. Alterac Entertainment Group is what it is. So, saying AI can generate game ideas as good as some of his company's games design. And so the irony is just like, he got replaced. Ryan Dancy, a more than 30-year veteran of the tabletop gaming industry, has lost his COO job at publisher Alderac Entertainment Group a day after saying AI could generate game ideas as good as his company's titles, Tiny Towns and Cubitos. Dancy said that nobody cares about the what was said there, but no. The actual what he posts is, I have zero reason to believe that an AI couldn't come up with Tiny Towns or Flip 7 or Cubitos. I can prompt several AIs right now and get ideas for games as good as those. The gaming industry doesn't exist because humans create otherwise unobtainable ideas. It exists because many previous games feed into the minds of designers who produce variants on those themes. People then apply risk capital against those ideas to see if there's a product market fit. Sometimes there is, and sometimes there is not. In fact, much more often than not. Extremely occasionally, twice in my lifetime, D&D and Magic the Gathering, a human has produced an all-new form of gaming and entertainment. So yeah. I feel like anyone that talks about this needs to go back and watch Jurassic Park. Because the question is not, can the AI do it? Because we are getting to the point where it could. The AIs can come up with ideas.
Yes.
The answer is not could. The answer is should.
100%.
Like, it's one of those, like, yes, you give a monkey enough paper and it'll write out eventually something good. Or, you throw a million ideas at the wall, eventually one of them's going to stick. Like, it is in a device that's spewing out a million different ideas a second. Yes, one of those ideas could be good. But saying that, like, the what was intended is, it's that human aspect of, like, paying people for their work and not using AI as a tool to not pay people, which is part of the whole problem anyways. But also using that human intuition. Like, a computer doesn't know what fun is. Yeah, and also Rusted Beetle, I'm aware of the Midwinter Minis AI issue. However, I hadn't updated this. We will talk about that next week. We are less than 7 days away from a regularly scheduled show, or well, actually, we're 8 days, less than 8 days away. So we will talk about it there. Yeah, egg-shaped makeup sponges. Also, yeah, I hate that AI tech bros have been trying to push AI into everything. I hope that bubble bursts soon. Yeah, however, I am pretty anti-AI when it comes to things. However, there was an article. I don't know if it was this one. Was it this one, or hold on? Yes, it was this one. Okay, so Elizabeth Hargrave, who designed Wingspan, came up with a use case for AI that she'd like to see, and I'm kind of like, that's not a bad idea. And I absolutely do not think that AI could be prompted to come up with even the basic ideas for those games, let alone a fully fleshed out rule set. I disagree with that point that they probably could. Whether it be good, different story. For fun, I've prompted several ideas for Wingspan cards, and not one of them has given me an actionable idea. I had a friend who ran a rulebook through AI for proofreading, and it hallucinated that people needed to shout bingo. Apparently, that's AI's conception of board games right now. I heard a quote somewhere that is something we need to remind people about AI a lot, and is that AI is not going to give you the correct answer. It is going to give you the popular answer. Those two things are not always the same. So, let's see, where was it? We're working on a model contract. Oh, see, no, that's not what it was. Okay, here it is. Hargrave said, I do see people using AI for things like generating a bunch of placeholder names in a prototype. They're clunky options, but they do the job. What I wish we were talking about is how AI could be built to help designers run models of their games repeatedly to catch weird edge cases or broken strategies. I wish that someone would build that tool instead of the language models that just focus on advanced autocomplete. And it's like she says later, it wouldn't replace actual playtesting, but, you know, like, it's one of those, like, you can just run, you know, a million different scenarios, and if you see the same 3 cards always are winning like 80% of the time, it's like, well, maybe I need to tweak that, you know, bit. Like, for something like, I mean, yes, like the movie War Games when he did the 0 players, when it was just playing itself. Except for not the learning part, but just the playing itself kind of bit. Where, like, I think that's what they're talking about, is just having the computer run through multiple games. You know, you could do thousands of games in an hour or something like that. And then just get a report afterwards of, like, here's when things were played. Here's the strategies that won the most. You know, you could even tweak some of the models to be like, only use these types of cards to see if that's even a valid strategy kind of thing. Like, that is not a bad use of AI. Because also, that I don't think would require the processing power that, like, AI language learning models require. Because you could probably, I mean, granted, I know nothing about AI, but that's one of the biggest problems with, and why I hate using AI, is because it's like one of the least carbon efficient things that you can do on the planet. Like, every single request, like, destroys or produces, they require so much electricity, it's like damaging our electrical grid. So, but, like, that is one of the biggest, like, ethics aside of, like, paying people versus not paying people, that's my biggest problem with AI, is just the fact of how much energy it takes to do something. Also, while we're on the AI topic, there is something I have to address, and that is, so on the next episode, we have a couple of designers on, that is, will be the interviews on for Gates of Crystalia. It's a couple of Italian guys. They're designing. It's an isekai anime RPG. Looks really cool. It's got a couple of unique aspects designed to try and get, like, casual and kids interested in RPGs, where it's like playing card based instead of dice based. Really neat stuff. But if you look at it's one of those that, like, you pull up the Kickstarter and you're like, there's a good chance that this is AI generated artwork. So I did the research. I pulled it up, and there is AI used in it, but it's used in development, where it's like they give it a sketch and then they use it to kind of diversify it and then make a final sketch based on, like, they use it for concepting, not for the final product, which there's still problems with that. But also there's another thing where, something I've noticed just in the little bit of stuff, I think the AI conversation is different in non-English speaking countries. Because I feel just in the little bits of the realms of internet I'm on, it seems like those people that are from, like, non-English speaking countries don't have as harsh of an opinion as, like, the UK and the US do. So that's why I'm trying to be a little bit on that. But because we're talking AI, I don't want to get, like, people up in my crawl about it next week. But it was a really cool discussion. But first time I've had someone that didn't speak English or not English well on the interview. He apparently understood English because he was understanding what I was saying, but, like, he would say something in Italian and the other guy would have to translate it. But
Gotcha.
interesting. All right. I think that's enough to talk about on that one. All right. There we go. I tried to install one of those Ring doorbell cameras this weekend, but had so much trouble. It was an honest and no bell attempt. All right. From BellaLoftSouls.net, Halo Flashpoint, Noble Team on deck and dropping in April. So you are about a month away from Halo reaching for this product. Cooking up goodness.
That was a twofer.
Yep, it was a twofer. Noble Team expansion is coming in April 2026. It's kicking off their second year with a big bang. Noble Team is geared up and ready to hit the tabletop soon. There's more to this expansion than beyond these Legends of Halo. Check this out. So this is one of those things where like everyone's like, oh, they can't, how can Halo Flashpoint become like a long-term product because there's only so many like different types of units that you can make. And I'm like, you don't realize how one of the things about Halo was being able to customize your guy. Like different helmets, different weapons, different, chest pieces. Like they could just keep making Spartans in different flavors and different weapons and people will buy them. As evidence to buy like yes, they're technically a unique unit, but it's still just like 5 more Spartans effectively. So, yep. Let's see here. Flashpoint features the Noble Team. They're made in resin. On top of those miniatures and cards, there's also some new toys coming as well. There's 2 interactive terrain features, such as the UNSC man cannons. Get ready for high-flying shenanigans to ensue, but why would you need those man cannons? Aren't the battlefields of Halo Flashpoint a little short for them to fly? What if there was a way to make the games bigger, with teams, like a big team battle mode? So apparently big team battles are coming to Halo Flashpoint.
Nice.
Double-sized neoprene
What do
mat.
they consider big teams?
8x16 cubes.
Okay.
So I think it's a double size of like the normal game. Rubber backing to stay in place on the tabletop. You'll find multiple new scenarios for this game size and Noble Team's expansion. So invite a friend around for a new way to play skirmish battles. Yeah. So, okay, that's just a... Yeah. If you're new to Halo Flashpoint, there's a new player Noble bundle that's basically like everything. Oh yeah, there's also a Firewolf team, or Fire Team Wolf is also up. Look, again, more just Spartans. It's just nice that it's Spartans with like flags. So, for like you could swap it out for when you're doing
and a skull.
And the oddball. Yeah. Oh, there's 2 with the... Yeah, so you got 2 oddballs and 2 flags. So these miniatures were originally only available through organized play, but are now up for pre-order as well. Yeah, so lots of new cool stuff coming for Halo Flashpoint. You haven't played Halo Flashpoint, right?
I have not.
Okay. I need a remedy at that at some point. But Halo Flashpoint is one of those games that I'm always like, I play it and I'm like, I need to play this more. And then a couple months go by and I don't play it again. And then I play it and I'm like, I need to play this more. Like, this game is great. All right. The first time that Alexander Graham Bell used the telephone, was that a protocol? So, Atomic Mass... So, this is another one of those that time has adjusted this story a little bit. But Atomic Mass Games cuts back on Star Wars Shatterpoint in favor of flagship war games like Star Wars Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol. So, this is an article based on the original story. I don't think I had a link that has like all... They've since come out and like been like, oh yeah, we didn't mean what everybody's gathering from it, but also I have no faith in Atomic Mass Games. So, Asmodee in a press release said that AMG would be putting a stronger focus on its flagship games. So, which has Shatterpoint, which has character-based skirmishes compared to Legion's more traditional pitched battle wargame approach, is apparently not considered one of those flagship games. That was the post was saying, we're moving this to a specialist title. And everybody's like, that means it's canceled. Like, from Star Wars miniatures to Armada, or like, Armada, X-Wing did the same thing. It's like, every time you like take focus off, that just means you're killing the game quietly. And so like, and that was like, so Asmodee says the game will be supported to ensure consistent availability and the highest level of gameplay experience possible. But yeah, everybody in the Shatterpoint communities was kind of like, yeah, so I guess we're done. Like, and everyone like started like, well, I guess I'm gonna go buy all the stuff I was thinking about buying before it's gone and never published again. But I mean, this is also why I can't get into an Atomic Mass Games game, because they can't consistently do anything. They will like put out a whole bunch of product for something and then do nothing for like a year for it, and then just suddenly like put a bunch of new wave of stuff on it. Like it's only a handful of people, and they've been trying to juggle 3 games with it, like 3 major games. So like I knew something like this was bound to happen, because it's like a handful of people just cannot come up with what you need to keep games like this regularly going. I thought Star Wars Legion was going to be the one that goes first, because that was a FFG game that got given to them, whereas Shatterpoint and MCP were both their designs. I thought that Legion was going to be the one to go, but they've actually put like a refocused thing on them. They put like I don't know if it's a new edition or just like a repack, basically. I think that's what Darren's talking about in the chat. Not new repackaging, was already like repackaging it to try and make it look fancier to things. So I think it's maybe because it's more of like a classic war game as opposed to like army size. That's probably what's keeping Legion around versus Shatterpoint. But honestly, they just need to like they just need to make the MCP Marvel Crisis Protocol. They just need to like combine the rules and then just let you like mix and match. Where is it? Is it on here? Did I let me see. Let me go back here for a sec, because there was something else. Okay, yes, there was a second story I did want to talk about, because in one of those same announcements, they also did something that I was kind of like, that's pretty smart. And they announced Marvel Crisis Protocol Alliances. So they dropped another big announcement, this time for Marvel Crisis Protocol. You'll be able to dive into a new way with Night of the Goblin. It's a brand new boxed game experience where 1 to 4 players will take on the roles from the Marvel Universe, battling against the Green Goblin and his villainous minions. So they're taking the Marvel Crisis Protocol game. I don't know how much crossover it is, but basically the way I would, yes, as Darren puts it, Marvel Crisis Protocol Underworlds, but yes, but no, because that was still a 1 versus 1 game here. This is basically their zombiciding their game, where you buy this box and it's a co-op box. But like, honestly, the way it needs to go, I don't know if this is what they're doing, is it needs to use the same rule set as MCP. So that like literally A, you're teaching people how to play your game. B, you don't need to be like versus somebody where you could just be like, hey, I'm bringing this to board game night. And people are like, oh, this is cool. Like, man, I wish I could just like play, wouldn't it be cool if this was like a minis game? And you'd be like, aha, it is. But yeah, that's like, I think this is probably, considering MCP is not like a very big franchise, that I could see if they just kind of kept doing this, I could see that becoming a bigger deal. And also, it would be nice to do, like, you could do a couple of boxes. Oh, Attack of the Sentinels is another one coming out, so that'll be all X-Mini. X-Mini. But yeah, that's so Shatterpoint's getting axed, and they're making board games out of MCP. And then again, this is why I don't pick up any of their games.
Yeah.
Although I would potentially pick up this because it's a board game. Like, I don't need anything. Like, if they cancel MCP, I could still play this.
Right.
So, all right. Moving on. All right. It's been a month, so it's time for Hasbro to do something stupid. D&D Beyond apparently needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. Oh, sorry. I forgot that the joke I put is just D&D Beyond is apparently D&D Beyond saving. I've made too many Wizards of the Coast D&D Hasbro jokes that, like, it's hard to come up with a new one, you know? It's like CMON. There's only so many of those jokes before you're really just like, all right, let's just get to the point here.
Yes.
So everyone's been talking about D&D because, for other reasons that we'll get into later next time. But mainly because they haven't put out what's coming. Like, they've been very quiet on what's coming out for this year. Like the longest period of not announcing products in a long time. Finally, by the time that we've gotten to now, they have announced that, like, there's a new Ravenholt book coming out. But then they have, prior to that, they came out with a roadmap, and they talked about how for D&D Beyond, they revealed an ambitious development roadmap. While there are many features on the map, including a revamped character builder and better player onboarding, perhaps the biggest item is a rebuild of D&D Beyond's game platform from the ground up. Also, one sec, I just realized I could do something. I could turn... You were having issues with the thing. I realized I could just turn my volume down for you.
Okay.
Sorry, I was very much aware of. I had it turned down on overall, but it was because, like, whenever you're talking about, like, peaking, I can see it going red. But so I turned it down so it wasn't doing that. But then they said I was super quiet, so I was like, all right. I had to change a bunch of stuff with the audio, and it got all hit. I'm still tinkering. Okay. In a nutshell, this means that Wizards of the Coast is rolling out a true game engine for D&D Beyond, which seems to have some wide-reaching implications, not the least of which is transformation of D&D as Wizards of the Coast moves to make its RPG that lays the golden egg into a digital-first product. That just sounds like a great that just sounds like a terrible idea.
Well, it sounds like they're doing Foundry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is they remember they killed off their and that's where I would say Rusted Beetle is, like, they did finally make a roadmap, but, like, at the time that this article came out, the discussion was talking about. But yes, they killed that Sigil virtual tabletop. They have, like, the maps one that's also kind of, like, embedded into D&D Beyond. But yeah, they effectively want D&D Beyond to be like Foundry and those other places. But it's a change in which the way the D&D Beyond toolset interprets the different things that you might use it for. Character sheets, rules updates, whether you see a given map, even secret DM info, all seems to fall under the purview of the D&D Beyond game platform. Ostensibly, this means faster load times and smarter searches and smoother rules validation, but we'll have to wait a while to see. It looks like the first place we're going to see this is in the new character builder rolling out on the platform later this year. There's a new suite of DM's tools, but yeah. I tried to move to a different, like, especially after they heard this, and I was wanting to like do some character building, and I was like, I should just start moving to other apps for character building because I don't have to like rebuy books again and things, and
Yes.
like, but like when it comes to actually making characters, D&D Beyond is like one of the best places to make characters, and it sucks that that's the case. But Rusty Beals is like also, how can we gamify this into reoccurring transactions? Yeah, that's totally true too. 100%. But I will say, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it here instead of talking about it next week because I already think it's fucking funny as hell. But also, Death to D&D 2024, Long Live D&D 5.5e. Hasbro finally did it. Last week, they did a big update. When I say big, they did a tweak to D&D Beyond, and everyone started noticing that if you pull up D&D Beyond, and like if you go into like any of the settings, back where it would have like Legacy and then like D&D 2024, they now have removed references to D&D 2024 and replaced it with D&D 5.5.
Okay.
And it's funny because I sent a link to a couple people where there's a FAQ where it was asked like, oh, I thought we weren't going to be calling this D&D 5.5e, and they're like, yeah, well, the community all kind of rallied around it, so we kind of had to. And I'm like, yeah, because D&D 2024 was stupid. Because that was a dumb name. And the funny part is I was actually starting to use it on a regular basis because of the games I've been running at the store. But the one time that Hasbro does something right, and all they did was just finally give in to the rest of the community. I'm still surprised they haven't announced Magic the Gathering OnlyFans edition. I mean... could be a secret layer. You don't know. Also, I'm almost entirely positive that those cards probably do exist. They are probably not standard legal, and they are probably not official. But I am very certain that there are nerdy enough girls on OnlyFans that have had cards made of them. Or that there are nerdy enough guys subscribed to people on OnlyFans to have made Magic cards of their favorite people.
Sir, that is very sexist of you. Okay,
you're totally right. I'm sure there are plenty of like cats as well on OnlyFans.
What about the cooking streams?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Whole bunch of cooking OnlyFans and fitness OnlyFans.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've brought this. I think I've brought this up before, but there was like I thought it was funny. There was Rusty Beetle posted the chat. Cats. I don't remember where it was. I think I saw it. It was a Reddit post where someone's like, "I'm a science video content creator, and I also put my content up on Pornhub, and the amount of interactions I get on Pornhub and views vastly outnumber. And there's like zero porn actually in it. It's just her doing like science content. It's just she also uploads it to Pornhub and gets like way more exposure than like than on like YouTube and other places. And I always find that just hilarious. All right,
I think that segues very nicely into our last article.
I didn't plan on that. I just want to say I didn't.
Don't even pull up the article on the screen yet. Tell your joke first.
No, my joke is literally I'm not going to do any better than the headline here.
Oh, okay. That's just the headline is the joke.
The headline is the joke. Like, I'm not going to do any better than this. Fist your friends with the new Warhammer 40K plushie. There's no doing any better than that. Games Workshop has revealed a new wearable plush fist, Power Fist by Tommy. Time for Warhammer 40k fans to get to glove up and get wrist deep. Oh man,
my god, this dude had to have the most fun writing this article.
I just want to see the chat where he's like, can I say this? Like this like I just want to let you, before I put a bunch of time and effort into this is what I'm planning on the headline to be. So basically, Games Workshop announced the next wave of their partnership with Tommy, which makes a lot of their plushies, and so they revealed on a couple Thursdays ago a new completely innocent plush toy for Warhammer 40,000 fans, a wearable Ultramarines Power Fist. The dimensions of the Power Fist have not been revealed for now. We'll just have to assume that any hand will fit, provided you take your time to work it in carefully. God damn it. It was revealed as a part of the Warhammer Relics promotion for licensed merchandise alongside 3 other toys, which include a pink horror, a tech priest Manipulus, and a Christmas squig Bounca. If the name was Bounca. If the goal was to make an entire line of stuffed 40k toys and names that could be equally applied to niche sex toys, I think we've achieved it. Oh man. So they haven't revealed any prices yet, but they guess on here probably around like $40. They say that this article is just great. We're not sure if Games Workshop knows what they're about to unleash with this latest toy. They say if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But give a man a fist and he'll punch people with it for a lifetime. I'm just now wanting like a sock and boppers game with like plush 40k fists.
Oh god, that's gonna be how we settle disputes at tournaments from now on.
Tournaments. This is gonna be how we settle disputes on the live action, the live show. The joke sucked.
Oh my god. Oh, we need so like the big the sumo suits.
Yeah.
We need 40k versions of those.
Okay, hear me out. All right. Fundraising opportunity, right?
Okay.
We do a live show. We'd have to be the point where we actually have like more than like 2 people in the crowd. Live show. I same as normal, doing all the jokes. However, we have the Power Fist, and for $10 you can punch me after a joke. Not in the face. Not in the face. Not in the face. Not in the groin. Those are the only 2 restrictions.
Not in the moneymaker.
Does it come with a baggie of powdered rhino? Wow. So yeah,
that is so great.
There's your news. So unfortunately, that was all for the live show here. That's all the actual show that we have. Because like I said, I have an interview with Grant Howe. Actually, let me go ahead and do that. All right, so that's all we got for the news. Just to let you know that I have a interview here that I'm going to start up for add-in post-fact. So if you're watching live stream, you'll need to go check out the YouTube channel or the podcast later. And so I'm going to go to that right now and take it away. We're going to talk with the RPG designer Grant Howitt, who worked on his new game Royal Blood from Rowan, Rook, and Descartes. There we go. We got there eventually. So here we go, talking about Royal Blood from Rowan, Rook, and Descartes. Hey there, everybody. I'm here with Grant. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just finished work for the day. Well, I guess this is still technically work, but it's 5:00 over here. It's 5:00 somewhere, and it's 5:00 here in Sheffield. I've been writing games all day, which is a pretty good job to have. But I'm ready to maybe not write games for a little bit after this.
Now, if Grant's name sounds familiar, because it's one of those things that's like, wait, I think and then you look up your pedigree, like, oh, I've played a bunch of your games before. What products are people probably most familiar with?
Honey Heist, I think, is probably the most popular game of mine. It's a game where you play criminal bears, and you have two stats: criminal and bear. I've also written with Chris Taylor, Spire: The City Must Fall, and Heart: The City Beneath, which are two fantasy games. And we're coming up with we're currently working on the third one of those called Salt: The City Adrift, which is about big, wet cyberpunk Atlantis. I've done a bunch of one-page games like Honey Heist, so Jason Statham's Big Vacation, Goat Crashers, where you play cheeky goats. We want to go for a party. Crash Pandas, where you play 6 raccoons and charge the same stolen pop car. Great fun. And then also you might know, I wrote not the most recent, but the one before that, Edition of Paranoia, and no one liked it, so I don't talk about it.
Yeah, but I feel like that's just part of Paranoia, right?
Well, that's the thing. I tried to remove that part of the game where the GM was a dick to you. And by the way, can I swear on this show?
Yeah, you're good.
Cool. I tried to remove the part of the game where the GM was a dick to you, and have it where the players were dicks to you, and then we had like cards, which Mongoose commissioned it, and they asked us to write we want to have cards involved in it. So we went, because I think it was right after Warhammer Fantasy 3rd edition came out, so everyone was big into, Mongoose were big into the idea of what if we could have DRM, basically, so you can't steal it, you can't, 2010?
Oh yes,
I want to say 2012, around then. So it was like the internet was still kind of like the Wild West. And so they're like, well, maybe we can get around this by having a cards you have to buy. And so it was like the critical failure wasn't something you rolled, it was something another player played on you as a card they hadn't had. And yeah, no one liked it, from what I can tell. I don't think anyone bought it. And they're using a similar system but without the cards in it, which is what I would have preferred to write now. But yes, I did that. What else? Yeah, loads of things, bunch of stuff. I'm sure you'll find it.
I will say I've not played the official Honey Heist, although some of my friends have. It's a good Gen Con. Like, I got some generic tickets. I'm gonna go play a random one-off kind of game.
Yeah.
But I one of the ones uses the same system. Cocaine Owlbear.
Mm-hmm.
That
I've got to say, I was hugely disappointed to see that the two stats were cocaine and woodland animal, and not cocaine and owlbear. I feel like they lost the joke there.
I mean, that's the woodland animal. That's the owlbear part.
Yeah, it was. Of course, but the gag doesn't land.
That's true.
If it's with, I've said this to the creators direct them, I believe, at Gen Con, and I said this directly to the creators that they messed up the joke. But hats off to them.
Awesome. But today you're actually here. We're talking about it's a new product a new game coming out from Rowan Rook and Descartes called Royal Blood.
Yeah, newish. So back in 2016, I was on a charity fundraiser, and one of the things that I put forward is I said I will write a game for you in exchange for donating $500 to this charity fundraiser. And I'll keep the rights to the game, but you get to commission it.
Right.
So this is back in 2016, 15. And this chap commissioned a game. He wanted to make a game about sapient generation ships that met in space.
Okay.
We had a long chat about it. And I was like, that sounds like a really interesting idea for a game, and I can't write it. Have you seen what I do? And then your man who commissioned it, to his eternal credit, said, "Oh, all right, what about a game where you're tarot wizards?" And so Royal Blood came out of that, and the idea there was an initial release in 2016, and then we have re-released it. We've rewritten it. We've redesigned it with Mana Project Studios, who are an Italian company, and generally we did all the writing. Mostly me and some of the other people in the office, and then Sylvia Di Stefanis, who is Mana Project's design art head honcho. She did all the art and all the layout, so she's drawn a full deck of tarot cards to go with it. Oh,
that's cool.
It's very cool. That's right up on there in the things I want to have commissioned.
Right.
And I've had a tarot deck commissioned, and also it's unreleased. But another game people might have played, Eat the Reich. which is a game
yes.
where you play vampires that eat Hitler. We had a little miniatures line released, designed for it, and we've never had the wherewithal to actually sell them.
Yeah.
So we've got the 3D print. We've got 3D print files, but I've always wanted to have tarot cards commissioned and miniature line commissioned, so I'm very proud to do that. But the story of Royal Blood. You are a royal. You are, as it says there on the screen, you've got old blood in your veins. Sorcerer King, Witch Queen. It is you are kind of scrappy magicians. It's like you think like top street level magicians, and you are going up against. And by magicians, I mean wizards, not guys with like sawing rabbits in half and pulling women out of hats. You are, you're wizards, and you are up against the arcane. So the arcane are the major arcana. They are like the hangman, justice, death, the emperor, the empress, these huge society-wide, earth-wide concepts. I mean, they're obviously primarily Western, but I think there's a lot of resonance for, the different things across different cultures. And then you are royals, so you are the court cards. So you are in the original draft, you were the Prince of Wands, or the Knight of Swords, or the Queen of Pentacles, or what have you. And you have to do a heist to steal power from the arcane. And tonight's the night when it's going to happen. You've worked out how to do it, and so working with the GM, you do a tarot spread, which lets you, which determines what the plot is, and then by doing some more draws of tarot cards, you go through and you play the game, and you see what you lose along the way, and what you and the overall goal is all surviving royals become the tarot card that replaces the previous one.
Ooh.
And it changes every tarot deck in existence. And like the Gagos, like tarot cards haven't always looked like that. And like they changed, like the last time they changed was in 1973 when the angel was removed and replaced with something else. But as you can see here, the overhaul is absolutely gorgeous. We've got wonderful art, we've got wonderful layout. We've got
it looks
a deck
like
of cards
gilded.
so shiny you can shave in them.
Yeah.
Look at that. Shave with them or in them. Gorgeous cards, beautiful top box. We've got those lovely heavy coins, and that all comes in what the Italians named the Magnificent Box, which is the book and the cards and the coins as well, which I think is like 80 quid or what have you. It's very nice. But yeah, that's that. That's what I'm here to talk about. Really, it's very rules light. I think it's probably one of the rules lightest games we've put out. It's very much like there is a draw and resolve mechanic, but a great deal of it is about creatively using and wagering abilities which you have attached to your royal. But yeah, that's Royal Blood.
I'm assuming that's the Magnificent Edition is what you're talking about. That comes with the deck, the gilded deck and everything. It looks like on here for US it's $110.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But it sounds like you don't
need
need it because there's the PDF and the hardback. So I'm imagining you could use this with any tarot deck.
Yeah, you don't need the cards to play if you have your own tarot deck. Because we commissioned a tarot deck, I took the opportunity to put in an extra 2 court cards and jokers.
Nice.
Because I thought that would be fun. But also we've taken it so I don't know. We at Roanoke and Deco, I like to think a lot about gender and how we use gender and how it's a technology and how it's a cultural norm and what it does and what it strengthens and what it weakens. And so the idea of, although it's certainly evocative to have a king and a queen and a prince and a knight as or a princess or a page as your royals, we wanted to go for something slightly more gender neutral. So we have the monarch, the consort, the heir, the knight, and the stranger, and those are our 5 kinds of tarot cards that you can be. But it will work with any deck of tarot cards, and I recommend you use your favorite. I myself, I've got my tarot cards on my desk here. I'll show you. They recommend that you keep your tarot cards wrapped in black silk. I keep mine in a sock. With some cats on it, which is pretty close.
I mean, is that a general tarot deck thing? Like, I've never heard of that before.
Generally, I believe it's black or blue silk. You're supposed to keep them wrapped in to make sure they're spiritually safe.
Today I learned.
This is an old Thoth tarot deck I picked up in Portugal in 2000 and I want to say 2003. So they are very, very well seasoned cards that I used to read hundreds. That's bad. Pulling the tower just randomly. That's not what you want, is it?
Right.
But I do include in the back of the book a section on how to bullshit your way into tarot.
Okay.
So how to like convince someone that you can read tarot. And I wrote it, and then my partner Maz said, like, also my editor, they said, "Hey, this is really useful stuff, but it reads like you hate tarot, so I'm going to rewrite it to be nice." And I'll be honest with you, Chris, I did start to get a bit tired about it because most tarot cards mean a new beginning.
Yeah.
It either means a new beginning or something else, and it's pretty much 50-50 odds on that. I just started to wind me out.
Because I feel like if you're getting really into tarot, it's because you're looking for some sort of new beginning.
Absolutely, and it's about and it's about cold reading. It's about telling people what they want to hear. I did a it's not related to the game at all. When I was in secondary school, I went to secondary school in Portugal. I went to an international school, and we had a Christmas fair, and they were asking the students like what sort of things, like could you run a stall, could you do a bake sale, could you do a dance performance or something, to try and gen up some money. And I was like, oh, I can read tarot if you'd like. I can do fortune telling. I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, great, yeah, sure, no problem. So it's me, 16 years old. I take over a stationery cupboard in one of the classrooms, duct tape bin bags over the windows, light the cheapest incense I could find. I very briefly attained a mystic understanding of the cards because I inhaled too much incense. And then I just had a splitting headache and couldn't remember what the moon meant.
Oh no!
But yeah, I read the fortunes of my science teacher of like a 7-year-old boy who was worried his parents were going to get divorced. And like it was very strange because I was 16 years old and I had to be like, oh no, you need to be a really quick therapist for €2. It was an unusual Christmas party, but it taught me a lot about how to very kindly lie to people, which is what most of tarot is.
Yeah, I think what's always thrown. I mean, we're diverging even more, but what's thrown me off always about tarot is there's always mechanics about the card being right side up, right side, especially games that use tarot, because I know there's like that everything's opposite depending on what orientation. And I'm like, how do you do that? Do you just like spread the cards out on the table and shuffle them that way? Because like I'm coming from like a standard deck of cards where you shuffle it, like the card orientation doesn't change.
When you split them, you'll turn half upside down, and then you'll shuffle them and turn half upside down. So, personally, I don't use inverted cards. Not in the game, and not when I read, because you have to remember twice as many things.
Right.
And I just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
And also just like the subtlety of some of them is like it's very hard to remember. Say what I don't know the 7 of Wands means, and then what the opposite of the 7 of Wands means.
Yeah.
Quickly, so I'd much rather just have it as it means this thing, and some of them are bad, most of them are good.
So is the basic gameplay, is it familiar to anyone that's played that someone's been playing RPGs for a while? Is it based on anything?
Yeah, 100%.
Completely new?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a it's I'm gonna put this. So the GM is referred to as Fate herself in the game. Fate herself is in charge of the tarot cards, and then when you say, I want to do this thing, rather than think of it in quite broad terms, it's closer to like Aegon than Dungeons and Dragons. You're not rolling to climb this wall, you're rolling to get into this building, as it were. And you wager one of your facets, so you have silver facets, which are your supernatural magic facets, and then you have your lead facets, which are your mundane real world skills. You pick one of these to bet again, or like to wager on the outcome, and then the Fate herself draws a card and consults a table. And basically, high is good. You can bribe Fate herself with coins to draw twice, and pick whichever one you'd like. And broadly, high is good. And then whether or not you lose whether or not you lose your facet or your facet is damaged depends on the suit of the card drawn. And there are you want to draw your own suit. There are 2 which you're neutral to, and there's 1 which you're opposed to. And so I think like wands are opposed to swords. And so if you draw a sword, then oh shit, your facet's gone, it's broken. Something goes incredibly wrong. You lose your arm gets broken, so you can't fight. You burn out the last of your magic in one fierce attack. And then the other, like the third element, is the GM is then encouraged to, like, looking at the suit that's been drawn and the overall result and what your setup was, come up with some interesting, like, magical side effects to put through. So like wands might be there's a fire breaks out, air might be there's an electricity main overloads, or there's a huge gust of wind, or the floor falls away, or something like that. So like it's very fluid. There's lots of back and forth between the players and the GM, and it's much more of a conversation about a cool heist idea which takes place over a series of scenes than it is like a tactical game. We've got tactical games. We've got Hollows, which is our tactical fighting game.
Yeah.
And if you want a flanking bonus, we got you, baby.
Yep.
Roll blood into it.
So I'm getting the impression this is more of like a one-shot standalone kind of game versus like a campaign.
Absolutely, 100%. It is. It's designed to be zero prep.
That's good.
So like you can put prep in if you'd like. I think there's something which I clocked actually fairly recently. I've always written my games to be as low prep as possible, because I always used to find doing prep really frustrating.
Yeah,
I would, and like I've been GMing 20 years now, on and off, more on than off. And every time that I would spend ages prepping, every time I spent like building a relationship map and coming up with encounters and doing that sort of thing, the players wouldn't bite. Or the players would go like, "Oh, this is the stuff he's prepared. Yeah, okay, I guess we'll do it." And it's by the numbers. It's really quite boring. What's the word? Procedural play. And the thing which always sparked my interest was that I'd have half an idea, the player would have half an idea, we'd spend an hour going back and forth. So, actually, we dress up as an owl bear and fight in this culture. Great, yeah, okay, tell me more. Brilliant. What? And that's much more interesting than like the internecine squabbles of the Church of Silver Chiefs, which I'd spent all afternoon dreaming up. And I think this is possibly thanks to my undiagnosed ADHD, or possibly thanks to just who I am. But I'm much more excited to play and find out. I don't want to prep. I don't want to plot. I want to turn up with half an idea. I want my players to bring the other half, and we make something together which I couldn't have done and they couldn't have done. And now the more I look into it, I think most people like prep. I think they like writing down the name of the wizard and drawing the dungeon and imagining what the motivations are and what's happening, and they get excited about it, and they'll buy Imagine running a pre-published adventure. Disgusting. Reading it and then just vomiting it up like a dog, like a beast in the street.
Oh, my favorite is to use the pre-written adventure, but then just like tangent immediately, where it was like we did a Pathfinder game where it was like Curse of the Crimson Throne, that series adventure path they did.
Yeah.
But like it ended up becoming more about the orc that was in our party was basically is like, yeah, I'll do whatever. I really want to open up a donut shop in your town. So like if I do all this, will you like sign the permits so that like I can get approved for that? Like that was like where the game was. Everything else is like, yeah, this is just a side quest so we can get that approval.
Yeah, and that's the exciting thing, right? I think that's also part of the fun of Dungeons and Dragons, and why Dungeons and Dragons is so popular, and no one plays Dungeons and Dragons properly. Is it's not the fun part of D&D comes from choosing which rules to ignore.
Yeah,
the fun and so it says this in the spell book. Oh yeah, but you can do this. I'd like this. My mate's passed out, and I've got to give him a magic potion. I've got to give him a potion of healing. I'll just chuck it at his head. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I want to try and push this guy down the stairs. Yeah, just give me a strength check. Yeah, we'll work it out. That's fine. And it's like D&D is the dean who comes around and is like, oh, nerd house, and gets upset at the nerds, and you're there like thumbing your nose and stealing a pig and running away. And so I think that's part of the fun of D&D. But I think that prep is something which people actually really like doing, and it's part of the hobby which I just don't resonate with, aside from the fact that I write full-length setting books, so maybe I do.
Well, that's the thing, is that like a lot of the people that do those prep really just want to create stories, and then, you know, you're getting it out by writing books as opposed to at a table.
And I very rarely use things I've written at the table. I'd much rather just come up with something new which fits the... Anyway, point being, Royal Blood is a 0 prep game. Heart and Spire is a very fairly low prep, just because a lot of them rely on like, oh cool, you work out what the factions are and set them against each other, or you ask the players what they want to do and they'll tell you, and it's mechanized within the game. But Royal Blood is very much you draw a card, right, this is who we're robbing, okay, you could even, like, you can shuffle all the royals together and draw them to see who you're playing. You draw out cards at random in order as a spread to say, right, okay, this is the first layer of defenses, this is the second layer of defenses. What does that card mean in this instance? What's the guardian like before you get to the last guy? Go. And so it's not the rules element of the thing is much more of a pacing mechanic. It's much more of a way to break your stuff, rather than, oh, I wonder if I can play this game well. No, it's not something you can be good or bad at. It's like you can be good at Royal Blood by giving evocative descriptions and involving other people and playing your character hard and caring about stuff. But it's not like, oh, I've got +8 to hit and I do 7 damage and I have lightning damage plus D4. It's not that sort of thing. And again, we've got hollows. If you want to do +D4 lightning damage, roanokeanddeckard.com, look for hollows. Very, very proud of it, but very different from this.
Now, if you have any experience with tarot before coming to this, do you think that will help the gameplay at all?
God, absolutely, hugely. I've made it so you don't need experience with tarot. And one of the issues that I've found with games that use the individual meanings of the cards as though you're doing a reading is that if you know them, you can't really write rules around that. It's very open to interpretation. And so you end up having to do a full table, effectively, of short... So you're writing, 52 resolutions, because we pull the Major Arcana out the deck. They are sitting away. You don't get to touch them. You never get to interact with them. But so it's pretty much a standard deck of playing cards, and you pull the card, look at the result, and then you have to look it up on a table and factor that into it. And that, for me, is if you are not an expert at tarot, if you are not reading fairly regularly, you're not going to be able to, like, on the fly, get all the meanings of what the minor arcana mean. And so I was much more interested in the number is a mechanical result. The suit is how, think of it like a usage dice in Black Hack. It's how much the thing breaks, and also gives you prompts for the fiction. And that's how much so it doesn't matter if it's the 7 of swords or the 8 of swords. Those function the same broadly. And similarly, like the 10 of swords, widely regarded as the worst card to draw. Ruin. It's terrible, waking up absolutely twisted with a bedroom full of swords. It's a bad card to draw. In this, it's a normal success. And so it does not quite honor the traditional meaning of the tarot in the way that it could do. And there's a box out which says, if you want to honor the traditional meanings of the tarot, by all means, go for it. You're not playing Royal Blood anymore. Have fun. And because I didn't want to write the game for that. So I think definitely understanding the meaning of the tarot is useful, but more in terms of the symbology and the what's the word? The allegorical weight of it, rather than the precise meanings of what everything means, is going to get you quite far. And as I said, there's a grumpy guide to tarot in the back, if you want to know what everything means, and hear me complain about the mystic feminine.
Okay. So not to put you on the spot, but is there any way of kind of giving us an example, just kind of doing a reading and then how that would be interpreted in the game for Royal Blood? Or how,
I'll be honest with you, Chris,
someone
I wrote
could.
the game a year ago. I don't remember the rules exactly, so I need to pull them up. If you go, because you're on the website there.
Yep.
Go to the because we can look at the setup. We can see the reading. Oh, you got a cat. Hello.
Yeah.
What's your cat's name?
Oscar.
Hello, Oscar. Scroll back up to the top there.
Okay.
And then if you just flick through those images at the bottom, there should be one which has kind of a spread of cards.
This one? Oh, the magic circle?
Yeah. Yeah. You zoom in. So this is one of the alternate sets. So I think like the default one is called the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and you have like a set of basically 3 tiers of cards that you work through. If you scroll over here to the other side, you can see so the mark is the arcane which you are robbing.
Okay.
And the prize is what you're robbing from them. So we can see here we have the High Priestess and Strength. Is that Strength? What card is that? Don't think it is Strength. Maybe let's presume it's Strength for the time being. So we know that, and so you can, using your knowledge of the tarot, say, okay, so the High Priestess is a mystic card. It's associated again with the divine feminine, which I've got my own issues with, but the idea of intuition, and it's close to nature. It's close to, okay, cool, it's interesting. Let's say that let's have the mark as a wellness influencer. And she's incredibly popular, and like part of her magic is she looks like she's been airbrushed. She looks like she's got an Instagram filter on her all the time, and she's peddling various goods which don't work. Then we have here the prize is Strength, and we have and so Strength refers to power. Generally, it's a very feminine card, especially in the Thoth deck, which I work from. And so let's have this as a this is a vial from the Fountain of Youth.
Okay.
And she's able to anoint herself with the Fountain of Youth, and that's why she always looks so fresh. That's why she always looks so incredible. So that's the prize, and we know we want to get this from her. You then go around and lay out the thing. So each anchor is a source of power. So we've got, for example, Temperance down there. On the right, which is about balance. We've got the Magician up top, which is about mastery. Death on the left-hand side, which is about obviously changing states and new beginnings. And then at the bottom, we have the Hermit. So for each of these, you'd come up with an anchor for her power, and something which is either sustaining her power or protecting her power, or coming up with a way to, like, you can subvert it or destroy it or steal it or break it or what have you. It's something which you are going to mess with. In the book, there is a full guide to, there's suggestions for what all these things might be, and it's broken down into, generally it's a person, a place, or a gods, I can't remember. I'm kind
of getting like a Horcrux sort of vibe for off of this.
Yes, exactly. And again, because I think about gender a lot, didn't use that word in the text, but yes, we have it's so in fact, yeah. Think of it like anchors, or like a Horcrux, or like a fulcrum of power which you can mess with. And if you think about it like an Ocean's 11, which is which I think is a great heist film, and it's a great it's the benchmark for a heist film in my in my book.
Oh yeah.
You think of all the different things they did. So like they had to go in and they had to knock out the power, and they had to research how to knock out the power first, and they had to go and like, we've got to put the team together. So like one of the you could have like, she has arrested one of the royals on she's arrested someone we need on trumped up charges. She's had them arrested, so we need to go and break him out of jail, and we can have that. And you think of all these beats, and then with these, you I think this particular one, you can't defeat an anchor until you defeated both chains either side of it.
Okay.
In this one, so you'd need to. I can't quite tell what those what the anchor cards are. I'm afraid, just because it's not. They've got the moon. We've got. I think that's a Joker. And
looks like a scorpion over here.
So with this setup, it would be let's say the devil would be a system of control or coercion. So that would be, let's say that's the police surveillance, which you need to break. We have temperance as the person as the lawyer who she had arrested, and then the moon we have as we think of isolation. We think of and mystery and being hidden. So we have that as he is being kept in solitary confinement somewhere in a not strictly legal prison. And so by breaking those chains, you can then free the anchor and then open the way to the mark. This is one of the ways of doing it. We've also got, as I said, the castle, which is the basic one. We've got a family tree one where you have like a matriarch and a patriarch, and then all of their children coming, or their if not actual children, their underlings coming down, and possibly a third one. But as I said, I wrote it a year ago and I don't remember, I'm afraid.
Now it almost seems like just given that description where like different tarot decks might influence you in different ways just from like the art, because like for me the artwork would be a very big like brain trigger for developing that kind of game. But then swapping that deck out with like a deck that has a completely different artwork we could play the exact same scenario and it'd be 100% different.
So I think the one which we had commissioned, the arcane are more magic and distant, and the royals are more mundane. So if you scroll up to the you see the magician at the top there.
Yep.
So the magician has absolute mastery, and so he has all of the minor suits on his card. And so you can see we've got cups for cups, we've got coins for pentacles, and then we have switchblades for swords and crowbars for wands. As we're sort of leaning into sort of a more modern heisty sort of thing. It's quite cool. It's quite slick. It's not a million miles off Ocean's 11, honestly. I think it ties in. It feels a little bit like Apocalypse World as well. And like, you are the sexiest people at the end of the world. You are the movers and shakers in this place. If you have, if you break out the old Rider-Waite tarot deck, I think you could have a really fun sort of Ars Magica style campaign where you're playing occultists who are trying to steal power from angels, or are trying to building a stairway to heaven. It could work very well with the cyberpunk game. So I've seen some really lovely cyberpunk tarot decks, or some
Ooh, that sounds
ones.
Cool.
You strip the magic out of that, and so you have that cyberware. That's the metal and the meat. And so yeah, whatever you choose to, you could have one which is all birds, and you're all birds. I think a friend of mine has several bird tarot decks. So whatever you're into. I will also recommend the best tarot deck, not the Thoth tarot deck. It's called the Alleyman's Tarot. It's a fascinating conceit. But it's a person called Seven who put it out, and it is the only tarot deck I've ever seen with booster packs. Very, very clever. Seven just found a load of tarot that they liked and said, "Hi, can we commission this? Can we license this card off you to reprint it?" And then they also did the same thing with a bunch of art from games. So we have like one of our pieces of Spire. One of our pieces of Spire art is in the expansion pack for the Alleyman's Tarot. And the deal is that you just put as many cards in it as you like, and you take out any cards you don't like.
Yeah.
And so my partner Matt has an Alleyman's Tarot, and they've been collecting death cards. I think they're up to about 20.
Wow.
Now it's possible to do an oops all death reading. I think that's a really fun way of messing with tarot. because it's seen as either a bit naff or it's a sacred thing which you can't change.
Mhm.
And the fun thing about tarot, do you know the origins of tarot, Chris?
No idea.
17th century Uno.
Really?
It's an Italian card game. It's got no mystic significance whatsoever. Absolutely sod all.
That sounds about fair.
But in part thanks to the Victorian the Victorian rise of spiritualism, the idea of you look at like the pagan revival, or perhaps Vival, if you think of it, like how like the idea is like there is mystic knowledge hidden just beyond us, which we've lost, and we can get back to that. It is like what I will say. One of the great things about tarot is it's non-appropriative. It's from Italy.
Yeah.
It's from Europe. We can have it. Like there's a version they knocked around in Germany for a while, and it was done as a, if you were wealthy, you would have your own tarotti deck commissioned, and then you would play with that, and that was like having a dress made or having a portrait painted or what have you. But yeah, it's just cards, just playing cards, and we've stuck this mystic significance onto them, which they really like. It's not like the I Ching, mate. It's not like Futhark runes. It's about 20 minutes old.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Where you take something that's like, oh, it's got this deep spiritualism, and it's like, no, it was just somebody decided it was a thing, and other people listened.
Yeah, and I mean, and that is, you've described spiritualism in general, but I think that tarot have if we can strip out, as I was a Reddit atheist growing up, or before Reddit, but you know what I mean. I had my fedora. I was like, I don't need your sky daddy, doing all that sort of stuff. But I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in religion, all these sort of things. But I think that there's a really useful thing in using the tarot as a framing tool, as a means of prompting thought down certain avenues, and not to be like, oh, this will happen and this won't happen, but here are a series of lenses through which you can perceive things. Here are some ways, a meditative practice of thinking, and if you want to, you can have someone else do it with you, and it takes some of the pressure off you doing it. It helps you get a different perspective, and it puts you at arm's reach from the advice. And one thing I've noticed about games is that if you write a game about a revolution, no one cares unless you put elf ears on it.
Yeah.
If you just write a game about near future or present day, or like the Soviet revolutions, that's not present day. It's 100 years ago. But if you write a game about a real world or a concurrent or something which is adjacent to the real world in terms of revolution, it's too close to the bone.
Yeah.
And so you have to put it in a mile-high city. You have to put elf ears on. You have to say, oh, this guy's a wizard, this guy's a cleric, and they're trying to overthrow the government. And I think part of the joy of tarot reading is that you get to go and sit in a quiet, warm room with someone who is fundamentally going to tell you that things are going to be okay as long as you straighten up and fly right. And that's therapy. And we've got that now, but the magic circle in therapy is, oh well, of course, tell me about your mother. Oh well, this you see this indicates here. Oh, we have these tools which we can use. Oh, you're showing signs of whatever.
Yeah,
and it's the same in tarot. Here are the mystic symbols. Here is the rite and ritual we can use to separate us two humans from talking to each other and ascribe a broader significance to it. And okay, if it helps you, there's no skin off my nose.
Now that's just gonna change how I think about things together. I'm just gonna have like tarot people in my games as just therapists now.
They're pretty much same as priests.
I'm just gonna have them be in there as medieval therapists.
It's therapy. It's cold reading. It's it's a community service effectively. And it's emotional labor. It's hearing someone's burdens. It's like that kid who came to me when I was 16 and said, "Oh, my parents are going to get divorced." And the cards, I'll tell you now, Chris, the cards said yes, they were. But I lied to that child.
Yeah,
I said it was going to. Oh well, firstly, I said it's okay, and secondly, I was like, it's not your fault. It's nothing you can do impacts this. There's nothing. They both love you very much. And I mean, I saw his dad in the car park. He looked like a prick, but. What that kid wanted to hear was, "It's going to be okay. It's not my fault." And if it took And God, imagine being so het up about that at 8. You go to a fortune teller by an older boy. That poor kid. Ah.
Well, I mean, if that's not a good place to remind everybody about where they can get royal blood, I don't know what is.
I'm really sorry. You went 1950s bomber there. I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
No, I said that sounds like a great place to just remind everyone where they can get royal blood at.
Absolutely. Where they can get the game. So they can go to rowanrookanddeckard.com or rrdgames.com if you don't feel like spelling all of our fake surnames. Or search Royal Blood RPG. You'll find it. While you're there, while you're on the website. So yeah, please go there immediately. Spend your $110. Make it happen. It has been a sodding nightmare trying to get things into your country now, Chris.
Yeah.
Outdoors. Blimey.
Yeah.
Blimey. That lad at the top really got some issues with accepting packages. However, we've got it. It's pretty. I'm not sure if it's in the country yet, but it's damned near. And we've just opened pre-orders as well, so you can see there we've got pre-orders through our own website as well, which we're very proud about, which took ages to do. We're no longer doing external pre-orders, but they are still pre-orders. If you go to there, you can buy the game, and please do buy the game because I've got a mortgage to pay. But also, we have a bunch of other stuff, and most of it's free. We've got paid-for games like Spire and Heart, but they both have free quick starts, which give you all the rules you need to play and some sample characters and adventure. In fact, go to Game Systems up there.
Oh, I went too far.
Oh, wait, you can't. Okay.
It's just taking forever. Free games?
Free games, yeah, go to free games. So I used to write one-page role-playing games, and they are I would release one a month for free on Patreon, and then people would pay for them as well just because they liked them coming out, or I sent them physical copies. And so there are. I wrote my official 100th one at the end of last year, and I think there's probably about 120 on the website. Free games you can have, and they go from the popular ones are silly, as you can see there. Like right at the top, we've got our 3 quick starts as well. Hollow's quick start if you want to have a go at a tactical combat boss fighter game inspired by Bloodborne and Clinical Depression. You can look at Hollow's quick start. The Witch is Dead is a grindhouse game where you play murderous familiars after your witch is killed by a witch hunter.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Murder him. It's pretty good fun. There's 100 of them. I drew most of them. Sometimes I worked with an artist if I could afford them. But there are 120 free games, and some of them are good. And it's up to you to find out which ones are. But they are sorted. They are sorted in order of popularity. So that's probably a good clue. Can you scroll down and just like go to the last page and see what the least popular free game is?
Oh, there we go. I don't know if it's done by page or if I just have to keep clicking load more.
Keep going. So there's Everyone is Seagulls, a game where you play 30 seagulls.
I'm going to tell my kids this was D&D.
Bird, yeah, that's one with D&D. We always roll all the dice. Tonight, giant goddamn robots. Still going. Dogma, A Very Honey House Christmas. Yeah, sure, okay. God of Excess, didn't write that one. Keep going. It didn't say anywhere in the rules a dog couldn't play
there we
basketball.
go.
Right. Okay,
the
cool.
Dungeon of Numbered Days.
That is the least popular game I've ever written, and I'll tell you why. Do you have advent calendars in the US?
Yeah, I'm terrible at it, but yes.
Well, you need one of those to play the game. That's the dungeon.
Ah.
like you get an old advent calendar, then draw it up and connect it. These ones are by Minerva McJander, who used to run UFO Press, where she published Legacy: Life Among the Ruins, Castlevania style game, which name slips me now, and Void Heart Symphony, which we just put out. That's up on pre-order as well. But she also wrote a bunch of one-page games when she was younger, and we bought UFO Press, not for a lot of money, because we wanted Mina to work for us full time as a layout artist, and so we've got her games up here as well. In fact, for Mina's game, scroll up, please. Best one is Liturgy of the Dragon. which is there. It's great fun. You play kobolds. It is heavily inspired by Mina's upbringing in the Church of England.
Oh,
and
great.
so you play like ineffective, community-focused kobolds trying to have a meeting about about ecumenical matters. And like one of the roles you can have is the tea kobold. It's great fun. It's lovely. I've played it, and you get to, everyone gets to do a kobold voice. But yeah, there's 100 free games on there, so go and have some and download them. You can pay for them if you want. We've made it very easy to pay for them. And then if that's not enough for you, then there's also non-free games, which I would obviously very much encourage you to pick up.
Oh no, heaven forbid! Some people might spend money.
Oh no! Oh, I have to. I'm doing all right. We don't. You don't need to, but some of you do need to.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? You, the listener, you can get away with it. But if all of you don't,
Yeah.
Nationwide come around, they take my fucking house away, mate. So
Yeah.
Get on it, yeah?
Also, thank you so much for coming on to talk about Royal Blood and all your other games. If people want to keep in touch and find out what else you've got coming up next, what's the best place?
I am GS Howitt everywhere. GSHOWITT. The best place is Blue Sky. We also have Rowan Rook Deckard. That's Deckard with no K. On Blue Sky as well. We don't use Twitter anymore. We were on Facebook, but we don't read the messages, and honestly, neither should you. We've got an Instagram. We've recently hired her words, not mine, social media wretch. Called Naomi, who has been recently getting me to write bad erotic fiction about our games and posting it.
That sounds amazing.
It's pretty. I accidentally I wrote some really earnest anglerfish porn.
Okay,
and then just genuinely like, oh, what if you were attracted to the idea of being reduced to simply a pair of genitals on the side of a giant woman, which is how anglerfish do it.
And this is on Instagram?
Say again?
This is on Instagram?
You can get that on Instagram.
All right. Well, now I know what I'm doing after this.
There's Instagram, but yeah, Blue Sky. GS Howitt on Blue Sky. I'm mainly things I think are funny and photographs of my converted miniatures. So if you like either of those, that's fine. But yeah, I'll post all about my stuff there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking with us.
No worries. You have a good day. And thank you so much for listening, listener. Buy my things.
All right. And we're back. And thanks, Grant, for that interview there. Make sure you go check out the website and go support him and thank him for coming on the show. But it's time to roll that beautiful bean footage.
And that's been our show. We want to thank you guys for hanging out with us and putting up with all of our shenanigans. It's been a while, but we're back, and we're going to be working on getting into a proper schedule. And we know you guys you've been just in withdrawal from our shenanigans.
We put the southern drawl in withdrawal.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. If you like what you see, you got to check us out. Patreon.com/boards and swords. All right, boards and swords. They are two distinct. You got to have them together. You can help support us. And Chris will dad joke your favorite games. He might even dad joke your not so favorite game. Just throw games at him. He'll come up with some stuff. It's great. It's so cringy. You're gonna die laughing. But then you also got to check out boardsandswords.com. That's got the link to all of our streaming channels. It's got our schedule. Every once in a while we stick to it, and it's also got stuff we've done in the past, stuff we may do in the future. That's the home. That's the home where you'll find everything. boardsandswords.com.
Feedback at boardsandswords.com. That's what you need to do. If you've got suggestions for us, if you've got guests that you need to let us know if you think something sucked. As long as you're creative about, or not, what's the word? Not. As long as you're serious about it, I won't take it personally. Just don't go on blast. But anyways, if you like something, let me know, because nobody ever says when they like things. So if we do something different and you like it, let us know. Feedback at boardsandswords.com. You can also find us Instagram and Facebook at boardsandOrSwords.com. Constructive, that's the word. Thank you so much. In the meantime, thank you for watching the show, listening to the show. We'll be back in 1 week as we deviate back onto schedule, where, like I said, we will have Andrea and Alberto on to talk about Gates of Crystalia. So I mentioned about it earlier. And thanks for watching. And in the meantime, remember that every gamer's got a story, and this one is I'm just making this stuff up as I go along. I never plan any of this out.
And the points don't matter. Oh.
Yeah, and the points don't matter. Yeah, it's pretty dead on there.